Okay, so I just rolled out of bed a few minutes ago, and I saw this. Microsoft has acquired Activision Blizzard. Now, I've made it very clear in the past, I'm a PlayStation guy, right? I always have been since the PS1. And I don't buy a ton of Activision games. I don't buy a ton of Bethesda games, So these acquisitions do not affect me personally. But there are a lot of people on both sides that do buy plenty of these games. And a lot of people are saying now, Microsoft has had 2 massive publisher acquisitions back to back, and Sony hasn't bought a single one. What's going on? And I want to touch on that and give my thoughts. Sorry, I just woke up. And so what we can clearly see Sony is trying to go for in this generation as well as in the last one. They're going for quality, not quantity, right? I mean, it's clear. Sony's games are just of a higher quality than anything on Xbox. They're just objectively of a higher quality. They're simply just better made games. However, if Sony doesn't get over their reluctance to buy a publisher, then Xbox is just simply going to outgun them on every single angle. Now again, I am a PlayStation fan. I am recording this on my PS5 right now. But, that being said, Sony's reluctance to buy a big publisher is going to get them in trouble, because something that Sony has a pretty good iron grip on that Xbox doesn't have at all is the Japanese market. And I know a lot of people on Xbox are clamoring for them to buy a Japanese publisher. And there's a couple reasons why I don't think that'll happen. One, a lot of these publishers won't sell to American companies like that. And 2, those publishers don't have a market on Xbox. So it is a really bad business decision to throw away your PlayStation market, which is a big, Japanese game market compared to Xbox. Whereas if we look at one of the best-selling JRPGs of the last generation, Final Fantasy 15, sold less than 1 million copies on Xbox, I believe. Out of around 10 million copies sold, about 8.1 million were on PlayStation, a little over 1 million was on Steam, the rest of them were on Xbox. So, that is one of the best-selling JRPGs of the last generation, and Xbox still didn't sell that many copies of it. That's just because there's just not a market there for it. So, to everyone worried that, Microsoft is going to buy these big Japanese publishers before Sony can get to them, don't hold your breath. Probably not going to happen. They won't sell. It's a bad business decision. But I'm not saying that Sony will buy them 100% then, because Sony has shown such reluctance to buy a big publisher. It is insane, right? Sony has a very good working relationship with Square Enix. We all know this, right? There's exclusives all the time. There's even more coming up. And Sony has had good relationships with plenty of previous Japanese developers in the past, such as From Software. But there's one publisher in particular that keeps coming up that I just cannot for the life of me see. People want Sony to buy Konami. Konami has not made a big game in like 7 years, since Metal Gear Phantom Pain. That was the last time, and I believe that was a 2015 game. And you're clamoring for Sony to buy Konami? They don't make games anymore, right? I mean, sure they do. Probably got something in the works, but no more often than they put it out, what's the point in even trying to buy Konami? You're not going to benefit much from that. That's an investment that could very easily turn right around and just bite you. Konami's a bad move. I would not go with that at all. And this is not a Japanese publisher, but I see a lot of people clamoring for them to buy Ubisoft now. And Ubisoft is a big publisher, yes. However, I think you're forgetting something. Ubisoft doesn't make good games anymore. Why do you want them to buy Ubisoft, right? If you're trying to push for Sony to buy a publisher, make it be one where they make good games. Pushing for them to buy Ubisoft is like, dude, you should just go outside of your Sony headquarters and buy the biggest dumpster you could find and then make a game around it. Why would you do that, right? It's nothing. The most latest Assassin's Creed games have been at best, and dear God, why are they still making this series at worst? Same thing for Far Cry. Same thing for Watch Dogs. Although I loved the first Watch Dogs, I'm sick of these new games. They both suck. Assassin's Creed is dead in the water. Watch Dogs is dead in the water. Far Cry is dead in the water. The Division's been dead for years. There's not a lot left on Ubisoft. Rainbow Six is keeping them afloat. Its back must be killing it from carrying Ubisoft the way it is. So, one thing's for sure, Ubisoft is a terrible, terrible decision for Sony to make. And I do not see why people are pushing for that. So, this leaves 3 major developers I can think of. Sorry. Capcom, Square Enix, and I see people asking for From Software. So, let me go over From Software first. Sony, I don't believe, can just buy From Software straight like that, right? Can't do it. From Software is owned by another company. Now, the company could choose to sell off From Software, but From Software is a pretty big name, probably makes them a lot of money. Don't think they'd sell that too easy. So Sony would either have to pay a very high price to buy that developer from them, or just buy the company straight up. I don't think that'll happen. I think Sony will continue to have deals with From Software for future games, but I don't think Sony is going to just straight up buy From Software. Again, they're owned by someone else. And now for Capcom. Capcom has a very big chance. Capcom used to be pretty Sony related in the past, I believe. I don't know. I'm a recent Capcom fan, so I don't have a ton of knowledge from back in the day. But I think Capcom is definitely possible. I'm not gonna say it's likely, but it'd be a pretty big buy to nail down Resident Evil, MVC, Devil May Cry, of course. Thank you, phone, for going off. Dragon's Dogma, other games like that. Capcom would be a pretty big buy, and I would really love to see Sony pick up Capcom. I like some of their games. But the big buy that I see a lot of people pushing for, and that I am with 100%, is Sony buying Square Enix. I think this is the best logical decision. If Sony wants to clap back with a big publisher, Square Enix is the one to do it. They've had a working relationship with them for God knows how many years, and we all know how much Sony loves to push their organic growth versus spending sprees thing. This is organic growth. They have been partnering with Square Enix for a very long time at this point. I think it's pretty likely that Sony decides to buy Square Enix. It's a very good financial decision. It's a good investment. You know their games sell the best on your platform. They know their games sell the best on that platform. It only makes sense to buy that publisher. They make good games, finally. After such a terrible cold streak, they make good games again. Their games sell well. The games do very well commercially. Everything about Square Enix screams making money. So if Sony wants to clap back with a big publisher buy, Square Enix is the one to do it. I'm telling you, this is the move. Now, in this case, I think it would be best for Sony to come back and just double whammy with 2 publishers, in which case Square Enix and Capcom are the ones to get, no doubt. No doubt in my mind that Square Enix and Capcom will be the biggest publishers for Sony to go ahead and buy. That would be massive, massive news for Sony if they were to pick up both of those publishers. That would be ridiculous, and I would love to see that. Because again, while Sony's games are of a higher quality than Xbox's, it doesn't change the fact that Xbox will have so many more it won't even matter. Quality versus quantity is good until they have 10 times as many games as you do. That's the difference. Now again, I've always said and will continue to say, Xbox releasing its games day one on PC is kind of an L. Because again, if I want to play these games bad enough, I'll do it on the PC. I don't need an Xbox for it. I can get a PC for just a few $100s more and get everything Xbox has and way, way more. Right? So, why do I need an Xbox? I don't. Simple answer, I do not. So, again, this is for those who are really worried about this whole thing. It'd be smart for Sony to go ahead and pick up these big publishers, but do I think they actually will pick up these big publishers? Knowing Sony's reluctance to do so, I'm going to say not for a little while. I think they might pick up a publisher this year, but I don't think they'll do it soon. If they pick up a publisher, it probably won't be until Q2 or Q3, I have to be honest with you. And again, Sony has a very close relationship with Square Enix. Several of their games are exclusive coming up. They've apparently bought full console exclusivity rights to Final Fantasy, the mainline titles. So, again. But yeah, I think this is a big win for Xbox. I do. I think acquiring both Bethesda and Activision, while I don't buy their games individually, like Bethesda on its own isn't that big of a win. Not really. Activision Blizzard on its own isn't that big of a win. Not really. You put both of those together, and Microsoft just bought exclusivity to God knows how many games. At this point, Microsoft bought exclusivity to more games than Sony has. That's a fact. Now again, quality over quantity. Xbox has more, Sony's games are just of a higher quality. That's kind of the benefit of having a lot less studios. You can focus more on which games are better. Now again, that is great and all, until your competitor has 10 times as many games as you do. Then you have a serious problem that you are faced with. Do you continue this, or do you actually start buying more publishers? And Sony needs to really start considering the latter, because at this point, there's a good chance they get outgunned before they can make a move. And again, the smartest decision is Square Enix. It's the go-to. It is the most logical decision. Now another one, I think. I don't know who owns Team Ninja. I want to say it's Koei Tecmo. I want to say Koei Tecmo Games owns Team Ninja. Koei Tecmo is another big buy. I could totally see Sony picking up, over the course of the next couple of years, if Sony really wants to clap back hard with those Japanese developers, I would say that, the three go-tos should be Square Enix, Capcom, Koei Tecmo Games. Those are the big three. Again, From Software, it's a pretty dream. It is. But the thing is, From Software is owned by somebody else. Konami, why do you want Konami? They don't make games anymore, right? They don't. Everybody's waiting for a new Silent Hill game. Like, here's the thing. As a Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts fan, I often think, wow, it sucks having to wait. But I sit down and I count my blessings every single day and say, thank God I'm not a Metal Gear or Silent Hills fan, because I would have ended my life by now. Like, waiting for Square Enix to make Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts games, it's a hard life, you know. I've waited almost 6 years at this point for Final Fantasy 16. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's terrible, dude. It's killing me, man. But I often think, thank God I am not a Silent Hills or Metal Gear fan, because I would be waiting until I am married with kids, my guy. Thank God I'm not that. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Do you think this isn't a big deal? Do you think it is? Do you think Sony really needs to clap back? Do you think it's too late? Do you think Sony really needs to get these Japanese publishers? Because again, while I don't think they will sell to Xbox regardless, it would still just look good for Sony to get them. And at this point, due to the lack of publishers Sony owns, they need to really start being concerned with looking good. So, again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. What other Japanese publishers could Sony buy? Do you think I missed something? Again, I think Capcom, Square Enix, Koei Tecmo is probably the best options, but I've been wrong before. So, let me know what you think. Sorry, it's still so early. I just rolled out of bed like 20 minutes ago. Forgive me. Like, subscribe, comment. My name is Carmen, but I go by Ellis. I'm on YouTube, and yeah, that'll do it. Y'all take it easy.